The land for the City of Greenbelt was purchased by the United States government in 1935. Today, a bustling, active hometown for many, was once stream-fed farmlands and a home to only 3 prominent farming families known as the Turner, Hamilton, and Walker families. At the time that Greenbelt was purchased to accommodate a public cooperative community, little foot traffic existed to tell the stories of yesteryear. 3 cemeteries, however, provide some assurance that the past finds a way to speak to the present. The Greenbelt Cemetery, also titled Historic Turner Cemetery, is located on Ivy Lane near the Capitol Office Park, just west of Edmonston Road. The cemetery rests on a hillside, surrounded by mature trees and enclosed by a simple wrought iron fence, encompassing 3.1 acres of land.
Welcome to the Greenbelt Cemetery. Nearly 80 years ago, a zone plan for Greenbelt identified this site as a location for a public cemetery, and in 1941, the government sold this land to the City of Greenbelt. It has been operated as a city cemetery ever since. The history of this site dates back to 1739, when a planter known as Shadrick Turner bought a 125-acre tract of land at this site. The original property was purchased for £35, 10 shillings, and 1 sterling, and included a dwelling house, farm buildings, and the cemetery. Shadrick's son John Turner employed enslaved persons to work the land, one of which was a woman named Lucy, whom he purchased for 40 shillings. At one time, the Turner family cemetery held the graves of 12 family members, beginning with Shadrick Turner in 1799 and ending with young Thomas Parker Turner. Only one headstone remains legible today, that of young Thomas, who died at age 15 on September 25, 1855. The marker was found on the ground several years ago and posted within this commemorative glass case. According to the on-site historical plaque, the cemetery grew when Works Progress Administration construction crews found other burials on the property during the clearing of land for present-day Old Greenbelt. Those burials were reinterred at the Turner Family Cemetery.
The Hamilton Cemetery is located along historic Greenbelt's walking trail, down Hamilton Place just off of Ridge Road, behind the GHI Administrative Building. Of the 3 cemeteries in Greenbelt and the associated families, very little is known about the Hamilton family. A glass casing posted just down a footpath that leads to the cemetery holds the only remains and artifacts of the planter family who once occupied what now covers most of Greenbelt East.
The Hamilton Plantation, which is also called Hamilton's Purchase, was patented on February 4, 1776 by John Hamilton. The land remained in the family until 1863, when the heirs of Samuel Hamilton sold it. The original tract of land consisted of 240.5 acres, but by the time the family sold it in 1863, it had increased in size to 438 acres. Local historians have deduced that the homestead was located somewhere near present-day Hamilton Place, not far from the cemetery site. The grave markers include Andrew Hamilton, who was a surveyor of roads and a justice of the peace, his wife Jane, his son Colonel Samuel Hamilton, and the Colonel's wife Elizabeth also have markers. Although the existing cemetery is somewhat secluded, the City of Greenbelt's community gardens are a stone's throw away from this old historic site and keep it bustling in the summertime.
Even though the land of Greenbelt was first settled before the American Revolution, few structures dated back beyond the town's settlement in 1937. The Walker family burial ground, however, was one such site that had remained in the woodland, just down a footpath from Indian Springs. Walker Cemetery is located off Walker Drive in the Golden Triangle Office Park, and it is the resting place of Isaac and Nathan Walker, who were soldiers in the Maryland militia during the Revolutionary War.
The Walker Family Cemetery sits within an area known as Indian Springs, which features natural springs and the site of an old meeting place for Native Americans. Local lore claims that ancient arrowheads have been found on site. What remains in the area today is a small city park, located behind the Golden Triangle Office Park's parking structure. The cemetery within this park is enclosed by a chain-link fence and features the gravestone of Isaac Walker, who died in 1807.
A plaque commemorates Isaac Walker, a Revolutionary veteran, as well as his son Nathan, who is presumed to have fought in the Revolution. The plaque was placed here by the Prince George's County chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, sometime after 1935. The marker had been vandalized, however, and city officials confiscated and housed the marker for about 10 years before restoring it to the site during a dedication ceremony in 1983.
The Walker family cemetery is located in a small wooded area that used to be part of the town surrounding Greenbelt Lake. But because of the Capitol Beltway, it is now physically separated from the original community and is accessed instead via Walker Drive, a road on the north side of Greenbelt Road. The Walkers were a unique family, and many rich details have been passed down about their lives.
Near the cemetery site is the historical marker for Toping Castle, the first and longest homestead for the Walker family. The white oak log house was named for the family's ancestral roots in Scotland, as the three Walker brothers, Isaac, Nathan, and Charles, fled their motherland after failed attempts to unseat George I, King of England. For many years, the family lived quietly and anonymously at Toping Castle, as the three brothers had 500-pound notes each on their lives for the rebellion against the king. Toping Castle was also the birthplace of Samuel Hamilton Walker, Lieutenant Colonel of the Texas Rangers and Captain of the U.S. Cavalry. He died in battle during the Mexican War. Toping Castle was noted in a 1967 newspaper article in the Prince George's Post, but by then the nearly 200-year-old structure was becoming a stubborn skeleton.
The same Walker family also owned Pleasant Prospect, a large home in present-day Woodmore in Prince George's County. The previous owner, the Contees of Bowie, lost the house in a poker game, though not to the Walker family. The Walkers purchased it soon after, however. The homestead in Bowie remained in the Walker family until the late 1970s, and this second homestead still exists today.
In years past, when settlers established a new town and planted roots with family, friends, and neighbors, inevitably they must have asked, and where do we honor our dead? The Greenbelt Cemetery, Hamilton Cemetery, and Walker Cemetery are places of honor that add to the richness of the city of Greenbelt.